Hello, how are you? For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sarah Bramall and I'm a life coach for mums returning to work after maternity or career break and for mums who are making a career change. And I'm going to talk today about my youngest starting school and my reflections on the preschool years, having had children at home, preschool age children at home for the last 10 years, my reflections on that time. So I'm sure that you maybe are experiencing similar transitions at this time as your children maybe start nursery. Hiya, thank you for joining. Start nursery or maybe move on to secondary school or maybe move from infant to junior school. This time of year as we head towards September is a big time for transitions. And by the way, I'm sorry for talking about September when it's clearly not even the middle of August. I've just been thinking about this today because I'm starting to get the school uniforms sorted. So spent today sewing on name labels onto this school uniform for my daughter. Look at this. This is her little dress, like age 2 to 3, and she still seems so tiny to me. I cannot believe that she is about to start school. And when you have babies, the old ladies come up to you, don't they, in the street, and they say, oh, enjoy every minute, dear, because it goes so quickly. And it doesn't feel like that at all when you have babies because the days seem so long. But actually, when you look back at these milestones, it's true, it does go really quickly. And I've got my 3 in primary school in the same school together for 1 year, and then my eldest moves on to secondary school. So certainly, as ever, life is always changing. So I'm going to share with you my kind of thoughts on what I've learned through this time, through these preschool years, in the hope that there'll be something there that resonates with you, that's maybe valuable to you, and that perhaps you agree with. And as ever, anything you want to add, please pop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. So the first thing is with work to get the balance. Now, for some of us, we have to work. It's a financial necessity. There is no choice. And that's how it is. For some of us, we have the luxury of choosing whether or not we go back to work or whether or not we work part-time or full-time. I was very fortunate that I had the option of choosing to work part-time over full-time, both because we were able to do that financially and also because I was lucky that I found employers that agreed to me working on a part-time basis. And for me, that has absolutely been the right balance, but it's very personal. I know people who've chosen to not return to work, people who've chosen to return to work full-time, and that has been the right decision for them. So it's not about what your mum thinks or what your friends are doing, it's about what is right for you. And actually for me, it wasn't always financially motivated. At one stage, when my 2 boys were both in full-time childcare, I was working for £200 a month. It wasn't even about the money, it was about me and mental stimulation and the fact that I needed, as much as I love my children, I needed to do something in addition to being at home, being a mum. And that was important to me. So get the balance that is right for you because it's very, very personal. The second thing that I've realised over time is they say it takes a village to raise a child, and that is absolutely the case. You really do need any support that you can get, and I think that increases with the number of children you have. I think with 1 you can perhaps do a lot yourself, but as you have more children, and certainly by the time we've had 3 children, we really have needed support and been very lucky to have had support from family, my mum in particular. Hi mum, if you're watching, thank you, and friends as well. You know, and that support has been incredible and invaluable, and there's no way we could have done it all by ourselves. In terms of support as well, we've had fantastic childcare. My children have been with my childminder, all 3 of them, and the younger 2 since babies, and she has been an absolute rock. I just do not know what I would have done without her. I wouldn't have been able to work without her. So having that support is just so important. The third thing I'd say is about finding your tribe. Now, I'm a massive fan of the NCT, and for me, because we moved when I had my eldest, moved when I was pregnant with my eldest, and moved again just before I got pregnant with my second one. So the NCT was fantastic for me because it meant that I was able to have a network of other new mums and able to have that support, that community support, and be able to sit round and talk about those conversations about how much milk has the baby had and how much sleep have you had and blah blah blah. That has been absolutely brilliant. But with time, finding your tribe is so important, because you can kind of be thrown together as mums, but finding people who are going to really, you know, have a lot in common with you and support you and really have your corner. It takes time and it takes confidence, I think, to seek those people out. And I've done that, I think, by, you know, getting involved in things that are not necessarily mum related. So, you know, through maybe kind of doing exercise groups, through volunteering, that kind of thing is how I've met people who I've really connected with and been very, very fortunate in that sense. And then the next one is to focus on gratitude. And I know that I talk about this a lot, but I was remembering today as I was preparing this that when my boys were very little, there was a local blogger and she used to do a weekly post called It's All About the Little Things. And basically what she used to do when her children were very young was she used to seek out the little things that had happened in that week and take a photo of them and post them in her blog. And it really inspired me and it encouraged me to focus on what the little things were that were happening in the week that I could feel grateful for. And that's kind of continued now. Obviously, for the last few years, I've kept a gratitude journal and recorded that on a daily basis at the end of the day. And then, as you may have heard me talk about before, encourage the children to express their gratitude by using a gratitude jar. But focusing on the positive, focusing on the gratitude has been hugely important. Otherwise, I think you can get bogged down and swamped and overwhelmed sometimes with the enormity of having small children, working as well if you're working. Just the whole kind of responsibility can be a lot sometimes. And finally, comparison is the thief of joy. So try to let go of the comparison. There is so much pressure on mums to do the right thing. So much pressure around, are you breastfeeding or bottle feeding? Are you feeding your kids like purees in jars? Are you making it yourself? All of these choices that we make about our children, and the fact is that we know in our gut what the right thing to do is, and we need to learn to trust our gut. And social media can be amazing in terms of a source of support and communication, but also can be a really tricky one in terms of comparison. So trying to step back from that comparison and knowing that you are doing the best job you can for your children. Okay, I hope some of that has resonated with you today. Hi Alison, thanks for joining. Lovely to see you. Hello. I hope that some of that has made sense to you today. If you're not yet a member of my Facebook group, the Happy Mum Hub, please come over and join us. We'd love to see you there. And please share this if you think there's somebody who needs to hear this message today. Okay, have a lovely evening. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, bye.